Year after year, I tell myself I'm going to save money. And here I am, another year later, and I still don't actually take the actions I need to do to save that money. I challenge myself to sit down and write 10 actionable steps I can do in 2024 to actually save money. There's a difference between being abundant and thinking that you have all the money in the world to spend versus being abundant and also being a frugal girl. By the way, I'm Genevieve and I do lifestyle videos in Toronto. Make sure to give me a follow and subscribe to my channel down below if you haven't already. I would love to be friends. I really wanted to create this video because, 2023 and 2024 has been a really different year for me navigating the world of entrepreneurship. And I realized the importance of budgeting because when I used to work a 9-to-5 job, I would kind of just spend my paychecks and be like, oh, well, it's coming next month, so I don't have to worry about this. And then I got laid off, which I have another video on that. But I got laid off, and then that essentially changed my whole mindset on abundance because I was like, oh, I actually have to put in a lot of work to make the same amount of money. And it's still uncertain because I don't land deals that far in the future. I'm still beginning and trying to figure out my path as well. So here are 10 things that I'm doing this year. Okay, so number 1 is reviewing all your recurring expenses, including subscriptions. So I took a look at every single recurring expense I had on all my bills. That includes ClassPass, Epidemic Sound, Apple iCloud, Spotify, Instagram verification, as well as my phone plan. You might be wondering why I have Instagram verification and iCloud, and really that's just for my content creation path. For me, it's more like insurance for my pages because it is a source of income now. So I've decided that those are not replaceable. Those are things that cannot be canceled. So I reviewed this whole list, which costs around $200 a month, and I decided that I could cancel Epidemic Sound. To be fair, my YouTube is still growing, but I thought I would try out Epidemic Sound for new audio options and just seeing what kinds of music they have. And I love it. Honestly though, $25 a month for me, I just cannot afford it. So I cut that. $25 a month for a year is $300. So that adds up. 2, I am no longer going to the grocery without a grocery list. I can't believe to admit that I did this in the past because I would just go to the grocery not even knowing what I was going to cook, just pick up a bunch of random things like a chicken, some vegetables, but I just didn't have a recipe in mind, and I would kind of do that after the fact. And then in doing that, I realized, I actually need different ingredients, or I just wasn't super excited about the food I was eating. So making a grocery list, I did this last week, and I just love the meals that I cooked at home. I want to intentionally plan out my meals for 2024, and there's so many ways to save money at the grocery store by doing so that honestly, my boyfriend has been telling me this for the longest time and I just never really listened, but I'm finally listening, and I can say it has already made a difference. Number 3 is alcohol. I am no longer going to get a drink every single time I go out to eat with friends. To be fair, I'm not a huge drinker, so I think that's a bit easier for me because if you're exploring being sober curious or anything, I can definitely talk about that in another video. I do drink once in a while, but for me, I've realize cocktails aren't a must when I go out to eat, or even a glass of wine. That's not really a must for me. For some people, they like having that. That's something that they can enjoy. I'm totally okay just getting water. And in Toronto, that saves you around $20 to $25 depending on the place. So if I'm going to out to eat once a week, that's almost $60 to $80 a month that I'm saving alone by not ordering a drink. So, and maybe if that's too harsh of a goal to ask, you can also cut it down by setting a limit for yourself. If I go out to eat once a month, I can order a drink once a month, or whatever your limits are, to each their own. Obviously it depends on your total budget. As I am no longer going to just go out to eat as my only social plan. As I've gotten older, there are just so many other things you can do with your friends, like going to workout classes, going for a walk, getting coffee, trying a new free activity in the city. There is so many things to do, and I used to think going out to eat or going out were the only options. However, I feel like that's totally not the case, and I have so much fun with my friends just doing a workout class, getting a smoothie, catching up, and we even feel amazing after that. We don't feel like we just spent $100 on an expensive meal in the city, only to feel full after and not do anything with the rest of our day. So, I'm not trying to shit on people who like going out to eat, because I obviously love that. I'm just saying that there are other things, depending on what your passions are, that you can do. For me, it's also going to be about hosting. So doing some more at-home activities, whether it's like arts and crafts or like paint nights at my house, and things where I can feel like I can still have that social connection without spending a ton of money and breaking the bank every single week. Number 5 is that I am no longer shopping for specific events. I remember when I used to buy tops or dresses like literally a week before a birthday party, or a week before like a Christmas party, or like something specific and special, and that is something that I'm just not doing. If I need something, I'm going to first look at my own closet, see what I have, or I'm going to try to ask my friends to borrow something. I recently came across like a dress rental place in Toronto called the Fitzroy too, where you can rent event dresses. It is like $100 to $150, but if you are looking for a more fancy dress for like a wedding where you'd otherwise be spending like $300 plus, then that's also a good option, is to look into dress rentals, because at least you're not building up your clutter and being a bit more sustainable as you do it. So that's definitely something I'm going to be exploring this year. Number six is having automatic savings to my savings accounts. For me, it's a little bit different because I don't have really a stable paycheck. If I was working a full-time job, I would 100% just set automatic deposits into my savings account. I actually use Wealthsimple to do a lot of this, but you can also set up deposits like whenever you get paid. So for me, because I'm self-employed, I'm going to set the goal to set a percentage each month of my payments to be deposited into my savings accounts, or if I need a bigger emergency fund, then waiting till after this to start putting in those savings. Number 7 are credit card rewards. Okay, I personally love a good credit card. I love my Amex Cobalt and my TD Aeroplan Visa. For me, traveling, I know, is a big priority, and like it's very valuable for me to be able to take the time to travel and have the money to spend to go traveling, which is, I know, a privilege. But that being said, I think credit card points can really help you feel like you don't have to break the bank every time you travel. I have now saved up over 100,000 points in the past like 2-3 years, and I've used some of them for some flights, but I know that this will cover me a round trip flight to Asia to go visit my family in the Philippines, and hoping to go later this year. So I think that's just like a really great way, like if you are into travel, like look into eventually hopefully getting approved for one of these travel credit cards so you can start racking up some of those points. Or you can also just make sure you're taking advantage of the best kinds of credit cards, whether it's like cashback or points or whatever is most valuable to you, and making sure this is helping you with your finance. Number 8 is to look for better deals. What do I mean by this? I actually recently changed my phone plan, and it was around $10 cheaper a month, and I got more data just because I went on the app to look for what the other loyalty plans are. I know with telecom companies in Canada, because I used to work at a telecom company, there are a lot of loyalty offers, especially if you've been with your provider for a while. So you can even call in and ask if there are any special offers to get you a better rate, and just see where you can lower your monthly bills where you can. I think on top of this, like taking advantage of deals, it sounds like a lot of work sometimes to try to seek all these coupons and all these deals, but to be honest, like saving $10 here and there does add up. I know you might think like, it's like kind of the idea, like if I don't get a $5 coffee every single day, how much money will this save me for the year? I have also significantly reduced my coffee consumption at like Starbucks, or like I've also significantly reduced the amount of coffee I purchase because I bought an espresso machine, and now I make my coffee myself every single day. I just don't feel the need to go buy coffee as much unless I'm going to meet someone. So that is also a lifesaver if you are a coffee drinker yourself. On the topic of just making sure you're finding better deals, so even if you're booking a flight, like don't just book the first flight you see, do your research, find the deals, because the time that you invest trying to find those better deals can end up saving you a couple $100. So each time that definitely adds up. Number 9 is thrifting and DIYs. I have always been a fan of like doing my own little DIY activities or making stuff instead of buying it. But this year I'm going to try to do that even more so. So it's like if I need something very specific, maybe instead of going and buying something new, I can just thrift it. And investing in affordable DIYs versus just like immediately thinking the fastest way to get something done is to buy it new. I mean, obviously if I had unlimited income, that would be an option. But I think now being on a budget, that's always like a fun activity to do as well. My last one is that I'm no longer giving into every single trend. I am not gonna lie, guys, I have given into a lot of trends. I remember I got like a zebra print hat. I followed that whole animal trend thing. I don't wear any of it anymore. This year I got the mob wife trend. Like, I have a fur coat, but it's because my dad had it in his closet. So I didn't really go out of my way to go purchase one. I just so happened to have one, which was perfect. But I'm not going to unnecessarily go out of my way to buy things just so I can follow trends. I'm really going to evaluate if things align with my personal style, if it's a long-term piece, if it's something I can see myself wearing and aligning with my personal style, then maybe it's worth the investment. But if it's something I think I'm going to wear once, or like maybe to a certain specific event, I'm not even going to think about it, because I just think that that is the way that you end up building up that clutter and getting things that you know you're only going to use 1 or 2 times. I also don't need to invest in every single home decor or seasonal decor for my condo. I totally was guilty of this last Christmas because I went to buy some decor for my condo at Winners because I just couldn't resist. It was so cute. Like, I'm setting this goal right now, but maybe I'll have a few exceptions. I don't know. Anyways, I think it's also important to just be kind to ourselves, learn from our mistakes, and keep on being 1% better every single day. There's always going to be days we want to treat ourselves, so I'm not trying to say like don't spend anything on yourself, but these are some of the 10 things that I'm going to do in 2024 to help me become a little bit more frugal and build up my savings and a little bit more financially free the older I get. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked this video and I hope it was helpful. Make sure to subscribe and like this video for more content like this.